Hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Monday morning here in my world, a little bit gray, a little bit dreary, but excited to start the week nevertheless. Countdown is on 2 weeks from this Wednesday, so I'm just trying to get as much stuff done and not forget anything before I head down to Costa Rica. I want to start the week off with 5 tips to get started on a raw food diet. I do videos every day and they're only going to get even better as I'm heading back down to the tropics here soon. So if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that now. Hit that subscribe button, then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. We're going to start the week off with just a real little basic video, just no holds barred, pulling no punches, just going to tell you what you got to do this lifestyle. Some people won't like some of it, but hey, you know what? The truth is the truth. You can kind of either figure out if you're going to do this thing or if you're not going to do this thing. There's only so many tips and tricks. I was talking with, I think I showed you in a video yesterday. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and I told her, I said, you know, after a while you run out, you're doing a song and a dance, you're literally running out of any fresh way you can, like, what else do you need to be told to be able to live a lifestyle of eating fruits and vegetables? I mean, you know, there's only so many ways you can put and package it, but anyhow, the first one I would say is to clean out the garbage. Get the garbage out of your house. It's not your food anymore. Once you know, once you figure this stuff out, once you learn, for me, it took about 3 or 4 days. Once I just even remotely became acquainted with this lifestyle and learned a few things, like I didn't see that other food as the same anymore, and I got it out of my life. Okay, maybe you live with other people. Maybe you can't completely get rid of it, but you can do the best you can. If you have to, you just compartmentalize your brain. I know maybe it's easier said than done, but you just have to say, like, okay, I think about, even if it's your family, obviously you can, your family's not going to be like, hey, you ate my food, but think of that as not your food. Think of it like when I used to have roommates. Okay, I was a good roommate, so technically, yeah, I could go in the refrigerator and eat everything of theirs, but I was a good roommate, so I didn't. So that food didn't tempt me because that wasn't my food. So, maybe you do that with your mind if you have to have the food. But if you're in a position where you can clean it out of sight, out of mind, just get rid of all the junk in the house. Like, if you can't, do the best you can, but get that stuff out of your view, because if it's there, especially in the beginning, and you start having cravings and you're starting to get weak, it's just too easy to go to if it's right there. Start the day strong. I see all this stuff out there about intermittent fasting, and I don't eat until 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And hey, there might be a good bit of validity behind the science on that. Just eating during a very short period of time. But if you're just starting this lifestyle, don't pay too much attention to all the advanced stuff you hear out there and like the fine tuning of it. You're just trying to get started. You're trying to figure out how to eat a raw food diet, and there's a lot for you to learn, both mentally and physically. Physically, the amount that you're going to need to eat just seems counterintuitive also, as well as it seems mentally. One little thing I'll throw in here, and this might get in your head, this might bother you, but it's as truth can be. If you want to follow a raw food diet, you're going to. If you're not doing it, if you've been doing it or saying you're trying to do it for 6 months or a year, you don't really want to do it. You don't want it bad enough, because if you do, now some of these tips, these aren't even like radical tips, of like greatly altering your life. But if you want something, if you really want something and you want something bad enough and only you know how bad you want it, you will try by any means necessary to get it. So if you have to if you're one of those people that, well, I have more problems or this and that and nothing seems to work for you, you might have to go to extremes on this lifestyle. And if you're not willing to go to those extremes, well, don't know what to tell you. Number 3 would be go big. Always go big. And don't don't worry about calories whatsoever. Now, if I sound like I'm contradicting myself of what I've recently said about how calories do count, calories in, calories out. Once again, you're just trying to get a grip, get familiar with doing this lifestyle, with eating fruits and vegetables. I think that's a tricky spot for people in the beginning, because like I say, once your mind tells you, well, that's just too much food. But the food we're eating now is not as calorically dense as, you know, what you were probably eating on the standard American diet. So don't worry about calories in the beginning. Just focus on keeping yourself satiated, keeping yourself full, so you don't make poor choices and go to something else. In other words, what I'm getting at is, even if you probably won't do it, you're probably not going to overeat. I find it very, very, very hard to eat too many calories in a day just on fruit. If I'm not adding fat in there, you know, something that really bumps up the calories really quick. So just keep yourself satiated like that, but go big. Like I always say, I like to advise people, especially people that have a tendency to struggle, go big and go big early. I tell you, you try like a 9 or 10 smoothie, green smoothie, 9 or 10 banana green smoothie before you leave to go to work or go to school or wherever you're going to go in the day. And that's going to stick with you. 10 bananas worth of ice cream for breakfast. That's going to stick with you. Now later on down the road, you might figure these things out, and you may not be wanting to eat the same. But to get yourself into this way of eating, you know, you're retraining yourself. You're kind of like re-seeing food, retasting food, relearning how to intake food. Number 4, have food at hand all the time. Once again, and don't be like, well, this is just, I can't do this part's ridiculous. Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. If you really if you fail all the time on this lifestyle, if you're constantly, you know, 3 times a week, you know, you're eating snacks you don't want to eat at the office or during the day at home taking care of your kids, then you're not doing all that you need to do. It may seem silly, but if you physically have to walk around with a bunch of bananas all the time, if that bunch of bananas has to go with you everywhere you go, you know you've got your safety net here. You got no excuses. You carry you a bunch of 6 or 7 bananas, you're downtown. You got no excuse to go through that drive-through. You eat those bananas. You know, wherever you are, whatever the situation, maybe you're working, put those bananas on your desk. You got no excuse. Oh, well, I had to go down the hall. I didn't get out for lunch. Maybe you don't get to go to lunch that day at work. Maybe you just you feel like snacking, and then instead of eating you know, something healthy, you go down the hall and you get something out of the vending machines, which there's maybe one vending machine in 10,000 that has something remotely healthy in there. So if you have to do it, keep food at hand, keep food with you all the time. And the good old simple banana is just that. Many of the time, and hey, I'm not going to have a problem. I can go out and I can go the whole day without eating if I want to, but I just don't like to go without eating. So even now, I'm big on taking myself. A lot of times I'll be like, who knows what happens today? So I'll take myself 5, 6, 7 bananas along with me just in case. And it's always there as a backup. And put yourself first. Put yourself first, especially in the beginning. Everybody out there wants to be such people pleasers. And ladies, moms, y'all tend to really do this one. You know, take some time for yourself. Put yourself first. I hear like, well, I got to make food for the rest of the family. Well, if you're making food for them, they can damn well accommodate you and help you on this lifestyle. Quite personally, I wouldn't be making food for a bunch of ingrates that not only aren't grateful for what I'm serving them, but are making fun of me and trying to thwart what I'm trying to do. But hey, that's just me. But yeah, put yourself first. And all these little, well, but I have to go to this social event, that social event. Why? Why do you have to go? If this is truly, listen, we're talking about our health. Sometimes it's like, I like to trap people in their words like a lawyer would. We're talking about your health. I think your health is more important than this little semi-social obligation you might have. Okay, so what if somebody's feelings are a little bit hurt? I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think I've ever, well, I'm not a party planner, but I don't think I've ever had a dinner. I don't think I've ever invited anywhere that they're going to crush me or like really hurt my feelings or insult me or offend me if somebody can't come or doesn't want to come. But put yourself first. That's why a lot of people, and that's one I never hear anybody talk about. I think that's why I see so many people struggling and failing on this lifestyle. You've got, hey, and I really applaud the people that continue to do things for their family, you know, even when they're eating another way. But hey, if they're being negative towards you, take a little bit of control. If you make the food in the house, you have control. So you put yourself first when it comes to eating, and don't get into situations say like I think a lot of times too, people can maybe like to use the family. The family's a convenient excuse. Well, I ate this because I was doing this for the family. Why? You're doing something good for yourself. So you averted you eating something healthy to make some garbage for the fam so I could get the garbage to the table a little bit quicker. But I'm just going through different scenarios. Whatever it is, put yourself first. This is your health. This body is the vessel taking you through this life. So, you know, in the beginning, and if you want to, you know, tell people like that. Tell people you're making some changes for your health. You're not going to be as available for a little bit of time while you're making a transition and getting used to this. But you know, people kind of make themselves more important than they really are. There's like most people out there, there's nobody that depends on you that heavily that if they don't have your full undivided attention and you making food for them and you doing for them every day, that their life's just going to fall apart. But anyhow, just a few simple tips for getting started. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.